And so it's come to this. 67 competitors entered, 235 races complete, thousands of dragons slain, millions of tiles traversed. 2 players and 1 race remain. Tonight, Game 3 will see us crown a new Dragon Warrior Randomizer Summer Tournament Champion. Welcome in everybody to the grand finals of the 2025 DWR Summer Tournament, Beta versus Cirno, in a decisive Game 3 matchup. I'm Diabetes II, and joining me in the booth is Brian Williams, 42. Brian, we've had 2 incredible games already in this series. What are your thoughts heading into this winner-take-all championship match?
Hey everybody, yeah, I'm excited. The last race was extremely close to the very end. I expect nothing different tonight. Even just being in the booth, I'm excited and a little on edge, right, in Game 3. So I'm really looking forward to good race. The runners have tweaked one flag to help slow down these starts, hopefully a little bit. They'll be running tonight with heal and hurt before heal more and hurt more. So guaranteed to see them in that order. Will that give us the challenge they're hoping for? I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, absolutely. That one change could have an impact, might not. We'll just have to see how exactly things play out. Again, 2 fantastic races in games 1 and 2, neck and neck, nail biters right till the end. Hopefully, Game 3 will prove just as close. The countdown timer is on in the race room, and we will be starting here momentarily.
Yeah, they have 6 strength to start. Not very good. Gives us only a couple enemies we can hit reliably, so let's see what the chests bring us that let us maybe get a little bit better first move against some of these enemies.
Perhaps a little bit of delay on Cirno's side here. There it is. So we will have to keep that in mind. There is a little bit of a delay, at least currently, between the 2 streams. So Beta makes out to the overworld first, and we'll catch up here with Cirno in just a few seconds.
Yep, they get a torch. So you get 1 shot to do some damage. You could kill Drakey, a ghost, that would otherwise be kind of challenging. Will you be brave enough to throw it at a scorpion and try to chip it down the rest of the way? We'll find out here in just a second what Beta and Cirno both decide to do with this 1 torch they've got.
Interesting that neither runner elected to save that torch just in case, but it's also not too difficult to just do a full reset if necessary. Beta did take down the first enemy, finds a cave, and it is Swamp South. So Beta is going to try to venture across the cave here. Backdoor to Garenham would be the ideal situation, but Blue Dragons have something to say about that.
Yep. And the Drakey also had something to say with the breath taking out Cirno before getting the torch off. I mean, the good thing about a torch and saving is the torch always kills a Drakey, almost always kills a ghost, and so their chances of failing, not quite like a fairy water where it can roll quite a bit above and below some of the enemy health ranges you want to throw it at. But yeah, Cirno also getting a red slime to even things up, 2-2. And they got the start they're looking for, I think, here. Nothing easy about this one.
No, not at all. Again, 6 strength start, really only red slime that you can do consistent damage to. Beta has been running from the scorpions. Cirno is electing to fight here, probably going to try to get a few attacks in and maybe toss that torch.
Oh, good use of the herb.
Yep, I was about to say that lasts him a little bit longer in this fight. Unfortunate min roll on the torch, though, is going to have to try to sneak across the line here.
But this is a 2-level kill. If you get it, you jump right to level 3, and it really unlocks things. Let's see if this is enough. Not yet. 1 more chance.
Oh, tough break for Cirno there. Was not able to get through. Beta, meanwhile, did pick up level 2. Meager stat gains, nothing too great, but 4 attack power will make a pretty sizable difference here. Not so much against the Scorpion, but at least against the other Zone 0 enemies.
Yeah, so Beta, you can see losing some of the health here, decides almost to just give up, get reset, get your 31 HP back and pick on some new fights. Beta has not seen that Drakey because that Drakey's actually in the north zone because it was with a skeleton. But that Drakey is not going to be fun when you do see it for the first time. So yeah, Beta content to just stick with the desert in Zone 0.
Both runners taking a save that time. Beta has gotten to level 2 without using that torch, so he will have the opportunity here at level 2 to try to leverage it, and rolls a 9. The min-max difficulties. Cirno got the short end of the stick. Let's see if Beta can convert this into a couple of one level here.
Yeah, you can see how much 3 extra damage on that torch gives you. Cirno gets away from the Spectre at 1 HP only to find the blue dragon in here and get sent home.
Out of the frying pan into the fire, unfortunately for Cirno. Again, I do think that it is at least something to try to get across. I know Beta did not give it a second try, but Beta has the advantage now. The torch plus a bunch of physical attacks did whittle down the Scorpion. 3 spells at level 3. Hurt, Sleep, Radiant opens the door.
And actually, Cirno did a hard reset and lost the 2 experience. So starting over, but keeping the torch and the herb now.
It makes sense. I mean, he was really kind of in a difficult position there. You never know when level 2 is going to be fairly easy to get to and have everything you need. But it is unfortunate to have given that up.
Yeah, started with the torch this fight, maybe to see what the roll looked like before committing the rest of the fight. And of course, another 6. Pretty unlucky twice in a row. And now the whiffs are coming on these 50-50s. I don't think there's any chance without a crit here in the last try.
No dice for Cirno. Beta leveraging Sleep and Hurt. Is able to take out another Scorpion for level 4. Again, not much there in terms of stats. The HP's come a bit. The MP is a nice early game pool for a bunch of hurt casts. Takes out those ghosts there with Sleep. Cirno's going to take the reset and probably go for another Scorpion. Or just, sometimes you have to take your medicine. Just whittle down those red slimes, take the level the slow way, and hope level 2's better.
Yeah, it's really frustrating as a runner to know that you've come this close multiple times to the Scorpion. 2 battles that went well except for the torch. Obviously, you don't know what your opponent did, but in this case, we know that Beta got the 9 on that torch roll and got through the Scorpion on first try.
All right, Beta has taken out yet another Scorpion. We'll take the Death Warp, was out of MP. So, again, big advantage here in the very early game, but we all know it only takes 1 big enemy, 1 lucky kill, or anything as the game goes on here to really open things up for either runner. So, again, not an insurmountable lead as much as it might seem right here off the bat.
Yeah, with hurt coming for Cirno in short order still, even 1 or 2 wolves, right? If you find that zone, will catch you right back up to these Scorpions in almost no time. So there's still plenty of time to catch up and make up this gap from those couple resets.
Yeah, Cirno really needs to hit level 3 here ASAP. That is going to be when things will open up for him to allow him to crawl and climb back into this one. It's interesting. We've only really seen a few steps north to get into Swamp Cave. We have not gone east at all. There is some traversable non-swamp terrain over there. Not sure if anything relevant's there, and I suppose with only a small pile of gold, granted Beta's got a little bit here after fighting a bunch of enemies, now level 5. Pushing for exploration really doesn't do a whole lot for you here.
No, I mean, I think all you want is a key, right? Because even if you could come up with a copper sword, you're still going to use hurt on everything for quite a while, and so yeah, you're kind of looking for a key that might be the only thing that gets you a little going. It is looking like the east coast, east of that swamp, so yeah, there's not a lot But the north, that north plains, I'd be pretty tempted to go poke around. And Cirno does get level 3, sees hurt, and can start the real grinding.
Probably going to feel really bad about not getting that Scorpion, gosh, almost 5 minutes ago now, due to the low roll on that torch very early on. So we'll have to be digging out of a hole here, but as we said, it's certainly well in range. Beta continuing the grind at level 5. Again, the stats really haven't been much to write home about. The hurt grind is real, and Scorpions are about the best thing you can encounter here in Zone 0. You're going to take them down more than 50% of the time on just one hurt cast.
Yeah, and so, looks like Beta's probably thinking, there's no healing yet, right? And so I say that. Okay, well, you don't need healing when you can do hurt more. But yeah, you have to be careful. You don't want to have to be refreshing your HP by dying a bunch early on. But yeah, now we're on the move. The game is on.
The best defense is a good offense, as they say. Immediately, Beta goes through Swamp Cave, leverages the outside. So we don't get a chance to see the spike tile, but we will get a chance to see it's not Garenham on the other side.
Yeah, that'll be the last time we see a Droll Magi breathe that breath on Beta. That'll be a hurt more every single time now.
Yeah, a little unlucky there. Granted, he didn't have enough MP in the pool to actually cast Hurtmore, so not a problem that he got ambushed and sent home. Now he has the information, if nothing else.
Yeah,
so
that's the kind of enemy. Sorry, that's the kind of enemy you think later on, I'll just swing a couple times, I can take it out, I have the sword. Better just to learn about that Dragon Lord breath now. Get it out of the way.
Oh, absolutely. It's classic one of those enemies where it's like, I'll preserve the MP, let me save it for the Axe Knights or something bigger. And then all of a sudden, well, we know how the game likes to play tricks.
Yeah, and it's even worse when you do it in a cave, far from home, somewhere that's really painful. So it's a refill Beta wanted anyways. Yeah, Cirno making good tracks here, also doing the Scorpion grind, almost to level 5, which is not hurt more yet, but getting closer.
All right, Beta going to make it to the eastern edge of the map. I'll be interested to see if he sets up a reverse or if he has counted. I didn't notice him taking any stepwise movement there to actually count the steps to the eastern edge of the map. Perhaps he did or will. Again, you never know. We get to the finals here. Having that knowledge or information, or at least feeling confident or comfortable doing a reverse, could be big.
Yeah, it looks like Beta's trying to get the top-down count actually a bit there and counting in. So yeah, kind of setting up the reverse from here without having to walk through that swamp to do it.
And it looks like he's counting the east-west right now as well. So right on cue, we have our reverse count set for Beta. We'll see if Cirno does the same.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting if this is the bottom edge down here, because it could give you 2 coordinates. It doesn't look like it. No, definitely not. Beta's still doing the count though, but those mountains are looking pretty middle of the map-ish still.
Yeah, I think he was also just trying to see if he could actually go anywhere down there. It looks that little swoop down to the east and south is actually a dead end, so no reason to go back there. So through Swamp Cave seems to be the direction we're headed.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of small first continent races so far this tournament, and I know these two runners play a lot of Dragon Warrior Randomizer, so it's not going to be their first rodeo with these tough starts, but yeah, it does make the count and the rescue and the coordinates much more challenging when there's guaranteed second continent in play, almost certainly there.
I'm not even really seeing, other than, again, through those mountains to the southwest, I'm not even sure we saw an area that you could count to for a quote-unquote direct count or counting across the water. It seems like we're just sort of on this isolated island in the middle of the ocean. Are we playing Dragon Warrior 2?
Yeah, where'd we get the boat?
Leonport. I believe it's just west of Alefgard.
Yeah, so Beta back through, and Cirno 2 or 3 fights from hurt more. And Beta has not really done much experience-wise with that early hurt more advantage. Has kind of really checked out a lot of the landmass, but not really taken out anything worthwhile.
No, he really hasn't. And really, he's looking for things. He's just not finding the things that he wants. What does he keep running into? Blue dragons, we've seen golems, wizards, not good hurt more targets. So he hasn't checked the spike tile. I wonder if we'll get a spike check here in the Swamp Cave sooner rather than later. If it's a hurt moreable enemy, that's where both of our runners need to be, like, now.
Yeah, you don't love it with no healing because how many even Axe Knights do you get to take out? But experience is experience, and so far it's really hard to find anywhere in this overworld.
Yeah, the downside, certainly, the lack of healing. 26 agility isn't great. You're going to get ambushed a lot, and if you don't one-shot whatever you encounter, good chance that you're going to die. Oh, that's unfortunate. Beta.
I was wrong.
Oh.
I was so wrong. Back attack, stop spell, run, fail, breath. So the Droll Magi is 2-0 now. And yeah, so I was wrong that it would always be a hurt more. Sometimes stop spell can ruin your plans.
The time-delayed commentator's curse. Brian coming in clutch.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here to make sure this is not the fastest siege you've ever seen.
Yeah, you got to nerf the semi-early hurt more somehow. That's one way.
Yeah, now the runners do know the flag is on. Hurt came before hurt more. Cirno finally locked in here with hurt more. Can catch up pretty quickly, finding anything to kill with it. But they also know that heal will come before heal more, and that means you've got some levels potentially before you can really take on anything big with heal more. Wait, where's this Axe Knight? Where did we find an Axe Knight?
I think I know where.
It's dark. It's inside. It's not the spike.
So again, it's interesting now, isn't it? The encounter luck has shifted perhaps just a tiny bit and has allowed Cirno to climb right back in terms of the XP. We said it wasn't going to take long. You just got to find that one enemy, that one encounter. On the other hand, Beta has made a tremendous discovery here to find keys in the town of Remulder. Unfortunately, only has enough cash for 2, so he will have to debate where he wants to spend them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we got to check the town or the shop, right? See if there's armor, right? You've got hurt more. You would love to be able to gear up, and let's see what we've got. Okay, a full plate, broadsword. Flame sword's probably not super worth it, but it's there. So you got something for defense that you can get.
Yeah, not a lot to work with in terms of what they actually have access to currently, but again, those keys could lead to cash. Cash could lead to better equipment. We'll just have to see exactly what we're dealing with. Again, 3 caves already out of the way, so greater and greater odds that Mountain Cave or Grave are in the basement here.
Yeah, and has anyone run from a blue dragon? Yeah, I feel like we've seen 5 or 6 deaths. Agility is 28. Blue dragon's effective agility is 40. It's not that unlikely to get away, and they just cannot do it.
Torch, gold, stones of sunlight, quest item number 1, and cursed belt number 1 for Beta. So gold grind is available once we find Mountain Cave or Grave.
And then Cirno makes it to, oh, it is the Axe Knight on the spike. So they're mixed in, and they're also on the spike tile. We don't have any access to healing. Oh, that hurt more is not good. Return of serve from the Axe Knight. But yeah, experience is experience. 130.
It is. We talked about it. It's not exactly an ideal grind right now, but it does get you off the ground, and this is exactly why it's not ideal. The ambush and the death, so only 1 killed. We'll be interested to see what Cirno elects to do here. The zone of Swamp Cave is actually quite good. It's just that blue dragon that's problematic.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll see. I mean, I think I would just keep walking back towards the Axe Knight, get the experience, and if a blue sends you back, it's 20 seconds, and we'll see. But yeah, we got to see what's on the other side of the cave. Cirno doing the same thing as Beta. You'd love to find herbs to extend that grind a little bit, but even Rim that Beta found, no herbs for sale.
No, indeed. Although, Basement of Tanthagil, Mountain Cave for Beta, so an internal gold grind if another gold chest is in here on the second floor. If not, he can certainly exit, re-enter, and force the issue if he chooses to. Meanwhile, Cirno takes the death finding the DL2 breath.
I'm glad you were talking because I was kind of just laughing out of like, you can't be serious. It's another Troll Magi kill against a hero with Hurt More. So yeah, they're doing really well today. And the hero's not doing well against them.
Yeah, who'd have thought? All right, Beta finds the Silver Harp in chest number 2 in the Mountain Cave. Looks like he's bailing? Okay,
Probably just going to set up the gold grind, reset the gold chests here and then be ready for the gold grind on the way out. Yeah, he's stopping in, setting it up, and gonna probably thinking, might as well get that flame sword full plate that you know about already. You haven't seen it a silver shield, but take what you can get.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I agree. The defense is probably the more impactful thing now, although you could certainly make the argument that even the copper sword, but probably more importantly the broadsword, maybe flame sword if he wants to go for it, hurt more swinging, even on Axe Knights when you have 40 attack power, is not a guaranteed kill. So you want to make sure that you're getting those and don't have to double hurt more or cast hurt on top or something.
Yeah, and Cirno makes a big discovery, which is heal at level 8, and now it's slow, it uses a lot of MP, but you can just sit here on these Hurt More Axe Knights yourself and get your experience. So I think Cirno's going to be probably getting some levels before going back out into the world, while Beta keeps kind of pushing the exploration that needs to get done, but he's doing it with less resources and less experience in his pocket.
He is. Fighter's Ring in chest number 2 here in the grave. Gold Dragon Scale for 2 extra defense, so all the little bonuses are starting to accumulate a bit for Beta. Gonna head toward chest 5 if he can get there.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the outside play and resetting things. You don't know if you'll see a gold grind inside Mountain Cave, right, in those last 3 chests. So far, you wouldn't have seen it. Final chest is, I guess that's a key. So, yeah, it is only a top floor gold grind, not a basement.
All right, well, he will have it set up, so not too bad there. He did save himself potentially like a little back and forth time. If he were to have cleared grave, not gotten the gold grind, to set it up, you'd have to leave, come back, set it up, then... So he did save himself a little bit of walking time, and this bottom zone is actually... it's pretty good. Druid Lord and Knight down here. Spectre's not bad either. Well,
chat says there was a gold chest in one of those. I guess it was one of the ones before setting up the grind, right? And had to reset it to do it either way. Might as well refill the MP for some more stuff. But yeah, Cirno going right back to the grind over and over. Beta definitely gonna gold grind and head back to Rim.
And we did see an example there. Cirno was just taking the Death Warp at the time, but gave a swing on that Axe Knight and did 1 damage. So again, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we probably need to explain the tracker overlays that are popping up at some point, but I'll let you...
No. Just pointing out that, again, that importance of potentially finding that town, or at least getting enough strength here with the level ups, which we're going to see on Cirno's side. 16 power at level 10 to 1330 MP. Wow.
Yeah, that's finding a broadsword in terms of just strength, and starts to make even just a straight punch, try to finish an Axe Knight off viable maybe, although you do have hurt, so no reason to take a chance. But yeah, now a lot of survivability with 89 HP.
Meanwhile, Beta going to do the gold grind here. Appears that he's going to go at least for Flame Sword, full plate. We'll see if he elects to do a speculative grind for Silver Shield. It appears not. I probably agree with this. He has not yet checked the spike tile, to my knowledge. So he is still pretty lacking in the agility department. He just did learn heal, so he could. But I think a grind is also fast enough to set up, and not knowing if there's anything out there yet, I think it's probably the better idea to just do what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in Beta's shoes, you have 66 HP, not great agility, only heal. So there's a lot of encounters where you might die to run fails, and you don't want to have to carry around that money and try to defend it in such a precarious spot. Just get the things you need and continue on.
Agreed, and just carrying that around, it kind of plays with you and plays with your head a little bit. You might run from things you shouldn't run from. You play it a little bit extra safe, trying to cling to this gold that may never actually be useful, or, you know, you just lose even though you tried to keep it.
Yeah, now this is okay. Well, so let's say a very clean walk. You get an encounter right short of Rim, but luckily it's not the Droll Magi. It's just a Magiwyvern, and it goes down.
All right, so Beta's going to pick up his equipment here in Rim. Cirno did do a stepwise count from the eastern edge of the map, so he has at least a single reverse set as well. Cirno is going to go west from Swamp Cave to find the western edge of the map, and wow, that's just a lot of swamp over here, I guess living up to the name.
It is a lot of swamp, but it also is the west coast, for sure. So you now have an east and west boundary, so you could actually pop out of Swamp Cave and know where you are on the west side of the map, at least relative to the coast on the east side, and Tanagil for a count. So putting enough information together to make a reverse count that much more viable if the coordinates comply.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We had a race earlier today with two north, one west. So hopefully that's not the scenario here. We want some crazy hellacious count here, preferably for like the armor. But we'll see exactly how this plays out. So Beta did indeed pick up Flame Sword, full plate, small shield as well. So we'll see where this divergence continues. Sharlock on Beta's side, not relevant now, but good to know where it is.
Yep, Cirno another level 11, gives a huge chunk of strength, more HP, and now is green, 110 HP. That's very high for level 11.
It is, and again, with the MP as well, pretty decent strength. Again, no equipment yet for Cirno, but that's a lot of survivability. The problem is that low agility. Again, any of these encounters, ambushes, and the handful of enemies that you can't really dispatch with Hurtmore, those are the ones you need to worry about. Your red dragons, your blue dragons, and whether or not he's going to be able to run effectively from them.
Yeah, I mean, I like this clearing out the swamp. That actually looks like a bottom corner, even. I don't think you have a north-south guide to help you with a count, but it is nice to know there's a lot of map north of you from here as you start walking in that direction.
Well, chat doubted a moment ago whether coal exists. Beta can confirm it does.
And there's a silver shield. I mean, it's pretty far away, but I don't think Beta will do the Death Necklace gold grind to get it. But was there a large shield? Because he will definitely get it for that. No, it doesn't look like it.
Given the HP that Cirno has at level 11, it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility. I would say fairly likely that Death Necklace could come into play here. We'll have to see how exactly the stats pan out over the next couple of levels. So Cirno continuing exploration on his side. Is this another town for Beta?
Yeah, these are all new for Beta. Cirno just needs to go south to find Rim, south and east a bit, and there's Caitlin, so we'll find our coordinate question answered very soon.
No large shield in the top shop in Caitlin. Beta going to buy herbs. Okay. Wants to make it through the walk, I suppose, although he does have heal to get through the barrier tiles. I expect a coordinate check here momentarily as well, as Cirno also heading right into Caitlin. Runners with a quick high five. Cirno does not have equipment, does not have knowledge of Rim though, so no coordinate check for him.
Yeah, so putting this together, this actually is not near Rim, but it is south of the Jerk, so this is actually pretty close to Rim still, which means actually you could bring the gold here maybe easier than I thought for a silver shield. So maybe it's still something Beta will do, but I think the coordinates will tell us a lot about what comes next.
Oh man, all that hype over a possible reverse or single reverse or something, and this gentleman over here just ruins it for everybody.
Yeah, just go and fight, everybody. Okay, no coordinates in game 3. We're going to have to find everything somewhere else in the game.
All right, Cirno picked up a half plate there in Caitlin. Silver Shield was available here as well. He also finds Cole. We'll pick up his death necklace. We'll see if he heads over to Rim here shortly. Unfortunately, he has no cash on hand. I might have picked up a couple of death necklace chests, or search tiles, but realistically, he's going to hurt more one thing and have just as much anyway, so not a big deal.
Yeah, and, you know, still need the keys, but once you have access to a gold grind, Caitlin has everything. So I could see each runner doing one gold grind still and going to Caitlin to do that shopping and end up with the same gear in the end.
Yeah, the two aren't very far apart. Caitlin's not that far off the beaten path. It may just come when... Well, for Beta, it's a little bit more challenging because he's already cleared Mountain Cave. The only reasonable time to do it where you don't have to do it intentionally is out of the grave. Cirno, on the other hand, has not seen Mountain Cave yet, so he has knowledge of everything and can do it all in one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what would even... Maybe you don't have to really go back to the first continent if things go well, right? There's nothing left for you back there. So even setting up the gold grind is like maybe outside of the routing. Beta could have the rest of the seed, where Cirno obviously has to go back once there are keys and do all of Mountain and potentially set up the gold grind. So yeah, I think this could be just not even an option that Beta wants because of the out of the wayness of going all the way back to start.
Yeah, I would probably agree. It may just come down to, do you get slept and wrecked by something you didn't anticipate or run out of resources somewhere? Again, maybe a strategic death warp out of grave or something at a dead end. We'll just have to see exactly how it plays out. But you're right, on paper, there's really no reason to go back home, at least not intentionally.
Yeah, Jerk is basically actually fairly close to home, right? You can go through the swamp outside, and it's pretty close. So if your last item comes in the very far corner of the map, you'd swing home. But unless that comes from Grave itself, and you've got the gold grind, then yeah, the setup won't be there for Beta in most situations, I think, going forward.
And I don't, again, I could certainly be wrong about this. Beta, I don't think typically values that silver shield and dedicating a grind unless it's fairly early, too heavily. So it may not even really be too much on his radar now, 32 minutes into a fairly early Hurtmore seed.
Yeah, and I think once Beta sees the spike tile, it will be really off his radar because it's not one you need any armor to win. I mean, magic armor would help with the Hurtmores, but you assume you're going to find Erdrick's armor hopefully at some point too.
I didn't quite catch how Cirno got there, but has found Hawksness with the Armored Knight. Gets ambushed, shouldn't have a problem unless he misses a Hurtmore here. We'll see what Hawksness has.
this is like really, really far east. This might be all the way back at the east coast, kind of along the south edge of the map. So this is a long ways away. Still hasn't found Rimildar, which is much closer to start. But hey, getting a token, getting that out of the way. We know now Beta has to get to this Hawk's Nest, which is very far from home and could be quite evasive actually for some time.
Yeah, again, a lot of divergence here in the exploration phase of things. You also note that Cirno is still well ahead in the XP race here with about 1,500 as Beta hits the freebie cave for, you know, a nice torch refill. You love those and perma-torch seeds.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, we've got a really easy grind, really close to home, and so I think that's something that both runners, you know, will definitely be thinking about when to do that grind, or if to do it. I mean, Cirno's already got 70 strength, already has 11 heal mores when we learn heal more, and enough HP to take on the Dragon Lord too. So how many levels do we really even need? That's got to be going through their heads as well.
Yeah, right. Well, you know, what do we see Beta doing? Just throw anything I say or think completely out of the ballpark. He may just be refilling keys here, but I would not be surprised if he's going to head downstairs and set up a grind.
Okay, well, you're safe. You're safe. Good prediction on skipping the gold grind, because that would have been the time to do it, right? That might be the last time you hope to be sent home, and yeah, I think that would have been the time. So if it's on his mind at all, he would have done it, and I think it's pretty safe to say we won't see Beta do it this seed.
Yeah, I mean, that's about as good of an opportunity as the game's ever going to hand you to do it. And it's not that far of a walk out of the way, but it's like, what is the impetus for doing so? The lack of heal more can be a little unnerving, but generally speaking, it really shouldn't come into play really until Sharlock. Maybe with repelling some enemies here in the mid-game, but we haven't learned repel yet either.
Yeah, I think that's another thing that factors in, is without repel, that Silver Shield loses a lot of benefit, because you still have to encounter things that you are defense breaking, and that's, you know, not much of a time save just to better get away from them.
I could be wrong, but I think this is Beta's first traversal, or first check of the Swamp Cave Spike Tile. So he is going to gain a lot of XP very quickly, presumably. Remember, Cirno was doing this grind earlier, much less efficiently, didn't have a weapon at the time, low MP pool, low agility, lots of ambushes. So Beta's going to be able to get through it and eliminate this XP gap very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard-fought experience early on while Cirno was doing this without healing, and luckily it got Cirno healing, and it's allowed a huge amount of exploration, right? We've now seen the Harp Trade-in Cave, we've taken out Hawk's Nest, seen most of the towns except the one you really need, which is Rimildar, but there's a lot of map covered already from Cirno's side, just having heal a little bit sooner to move out.
Well, speaking of interesting things that happen, Beta, I wouldn't say beneficiary, but the RNG, just the dodge on the Axe Knight, not able to take it out, takes him out instead, and he will have to come back home once again.
Yeah, I mean, chat kind of pointing out everything you're hoping to find maybe backwards here, right? You found Harp Trade before the Harp, right, which is underneath Tanagal in the basement. You know, you found Cantland before Keys, so that is going to have to be a lot of sort of revisiting places for Cirno, and, you know, doing that will hinge a lot on whether Repel is available for like how much of a time loss it is. Oh, but the sword here in Tablet Cave, which is also kind of on a peninsula. These are things that could Beta could end up missing as well. So good for Cirno to find these things, you know, relatively early here.
Yeah, a little bit of disappointment, I suppose, for us and for chat that Sword and Armor both aren't in Sharlock. But yeah, that is a huge pickup for Cirno. Again, doesn't necessarily matter a ton right now, but if it comes down to, you know, Sharlock versus seeking out a tablet cave that you don't know where it is on beta side, does he just dive Sharlock and play the odds?
Yeah, I mean, this is actually something that could realistically happen, because the stats are really good. I mean, you're already 115 HP, 95 MP for Cirno, 115 attack, and so you are really, 20 attack power from ready to go, and that could come in just a couple levels.
Yeah, the big thing, Cirno he needs to find Rim, like, now.
Yes, is seeing Caitlyn again. I don't know. I guess we're getting fairy water, right? The repel factor is still quite helpful, even at 44 defense. So hopefully from here, kind of goes north of Cole, which I think is the direction of Rim. I think last time went south, which took Cirno, quite a ways across the map, but yeah, away from Rimuldar.
The Droll Magi has finally been defeated. I think that's the first one.
And with 109 HP, you're not too worried about it, I guess. But Cirno goes north. You know there's a lot of north because you've seen the south edge of the map, but Rim is a few steps south, and so will be, yet again, something Cirno misses. There's still a chance for a loose key in the grave, but we haven't seen that, and that could be behind a locked door in Garenham, right? So, in fact, I think it has to be.
I think you're correct, because we've seen Tablet, Stone's Cave, both ends of Swamp, the turn-ins, and Mountain. So I think the only cave remaining is Grave, so that will be in Garenham. So 8 chests, 8 opportunities for the armor to be there, as opposed to in Sharlock.
Yeah, and it's just kind of how the game goes that Rimuldar is now the key to the seed for Cirno. It's going to be really hard to make up time missing it when Garenham is the last place armor could be.
And again, we know, Cirno doesn't, that Rim isn't this way. So if he comes into the pairing of Rim and Garenham and Breckenary, this is like the worst case scenario.
I mean, all these places are known now, so I think at this point Cirno's seen everything, right? Cirno knows that the 2 caves underneath Keys are both of our deep 5 chest caves, but you just need Rimuldar to get there.
And he's seen a lot of the map, just not the right small part that has Rim on it, so we'll see exactly where he goes next. He hasn't gone south here, but again, nobody has at this stage. I imagine this is going to go to a fairly quick dead end. He may have some land further to the northeast, but it seems like that's probably where the prime continent is. It just needs to get back to Rim.
Yeah, I think we've got some the area around Sharlock Castle that we saw, right? I think there's some north of that hasn't been seen. Running out of options that are not the direction of Rim, but it's time, and it's time that Beta is getting a lot of experience, maybe enough to have Heal More and Repel to really cruise around the map for these last few spots.
100%, and about a minute ago, Beta did retake the XP lead here while Cirno just desperately is searching for Rim. I wonder if we'll see Beta go all the way to Repel and or Heal More before venturing forth. It's tough when the stats can be pretty close to go, but with 48 agility, I mean, that's never going to feel very good in terms of go stats, but we haven't seen what 13 will have, at least not for another 8 seconds.
And then the big reveal, level 13, trumpets and stats. We have 17 power, 19 agility, 16 MP. It is time to go, except we don't have Heal More.
That's a pretty big level. And now the grind, it feels bad. However, I think it is the right call. It's such a toss-up in these types of situations. I mean, Repel makes traversal of the map so much faster, heal more for safety, and you need heal more at the end anyway. It feels really bad to continue to walk around knowing I already have the levels, just give me the locations I need.
Yeah, and chat bringing it up, this is almost viable with Flame Sword right now. It's not quite there, but a little bit more HP would actually be fine, right? If you could get the Death Necklace on or get a couple more doubles, you're good to go without finding the sword. You still need the armor, so you kind of look everywhere till you find it, but yeah, I think Beta's thinking about a lot of things right now. Cirno needs to turn south right here.
It's not even that far south. It's, like you said, it's a few steps. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, if you were mapping, there's not a lot of space between where Cirno went south to get all the way to Hawksness and where Cirno went north to see Sharlock. There's a little sliver of unseen land, and it turns out that's what you needed to see. So, okay, time to hustle up and get a lot of homework done for Cirno. Let's see how long it takes relative to Beta's very consistent grind, absent those Hurtmores from Axe Knights.
Yeah, he's got a couple of unlucky early, not super early, but early enough that he didn't get a chance to dump all of his MP into an X-Knight grind. But again, has built a pretty decent XP lead here at this point. Again, both runners have reasons to feel very confident, but also feel very worried with the way this seed has gone. Beta, again, pretty smooth off the start. Didn't hit the grind spot until really late. Might think he's behind from that perspective. Cirno took a long time to get that Hurtmore level. And now last location in Keys. But by the same token, again, this is still anybody's race. We'll have to see how it converges.
And the token, right? Cirno's holding that token from a very far away Hawksness and that sword from a pretty far away Tablet Cave. So I feel pretty good about ending up at both of those places without dying on the way, without missing those spots, which could have been pretty easy to have turned just short of or run out of resources before you hit them. So yeah, I think both runners feel like things are going relatively well, all things considered.
Another difference in strategies. Again, Beta usually does this. Didn't elect to, or at least is choosing not to right now, or just doesn't have any left. Fairy Waters that Cirno has been accruing repeatedly in Cantlin are coming in handy here. Again, the defense is not very good, but it's keeping away at least the zone 0, 1, 2, and baby enemies as he tries to get back over to Garenham and, well, not really Breckenary, but that's where it is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a cheaper inn if you ever ran out of gold. Yeah, I think this makes sense. You don't want to do the trip home and then have to come back to the second continent. And of course, talking to my favorite NPC in Garenham, who hates people, and that's why she stands on the treasure chest just to annoy you. Yeah, no armor here, but let's see. Cirno doesn't know what it is. We know it's going to be Grave. 5 more chances to win.
You know, it's another sort of interesting heads up as well. I mean, again, based on what we know and what he knows that Garenham is going to have Graver Mountain, and the opposite will be in the back of the castle. By doing it in this order, he guarantees, if he takes a Death Warp out of here, that he has the potential for a gold grind setup and 8 treasure chests where, sorry, 9 treasure chests where a gold chest can be, but elects not to do that.
I could see why. You've got 2 deep grave chests. You need many, many items. Get these 9 checks out of the way, and then you'll even know if you need those 2 at the basement, because that's you might find everything before that.
You may. At the same time, it's not a tremendously long walk, but it's not close either, and especially trying to leverage Fairy Waters and not having Repel. It's a tough call not to dive there, although I agree. I can very much see the allure of skipping that.
Yeah, it's an odds play. I think I think you would say the odds are probably in favor of dive. You have the resources on hand. You have outside if you can't dive for some reason in there. But I think it's also scary to leave that many chests at home that are very quick checks compared to the 2 in grave.
All right, Beta has now made it all the way across the map to Garenham. He will head next into the grave. Now, he has not found Hawksness yet, so it'll be interesting to see what his approach will be, although he knows there's only one search tile remaining because he has seen Cantlin, and he has found coal. Yes, he has found coal. So he should know that he has to dive here.
Yes, and I forgot about that, right? Cirno also has seen Cantlin, but not the coordinates, and thinks there's the potential for an item on the search spot on the overworld, which makes it even less likely that the deep grave would have something. Now those odds will swing as soon as Cirno can see that the old man says to go fight. But in the meantime, again, like, you're trying to get checks out of the way as fast as possible. You want to get back to Cantlin. There's so many chests here, and there's the harp. So Cirno is now just an armor away, but where is that armor?
All right, Beta is going to make the choice to go deep grave. Again, it makes perfect sense. The only other outstanding location that he has outside of Sharlock is Tablet Cave. The interesting thing will be, what does he elect to do if he doesn't find... Well, he's not going to find the sword here, but if he finds the armor but not the sword.
Okay, so we have a huge decision from Cirno. I think this is like one of the boldest Game 3 finals kind of decisions you have to make in these kind of races. Bails on the last 4 chests because the only spot left on the overworld would be the search spot. Let's just find out what it is before we do anything else. Not even those 4 checks in Mountain that are less than a minute. We're going straight to the old man. Okay, you see this? You're going to death warp, right? We're going to take one step and go back to Mountain and check those chests. But, all right, we know now.
Yep, there it is. Again, it's such a difficult play to make. I can't fault him for making it. It's probably not a decision I would make, but it's probably because I wouldn't have thought of doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes it'll pay off, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, chat's saying, okay, coming out of Rim, instead of going Garenham, he could have gone Cantlin, but I think, Cantlin is also a little easier to route in, right? You could death warp and get back to Cantlin much faster than you can death warp and get back to Garenham. So I think, you're making little trade-offs. You're trying to squeeze out an odds win here and there. You never know with Dragon Warrior Randomizer, right? You're playing odds all day long. Execution, it cannot control the outcome for sure.
Exactly, and these races have come down to the absolute end for both games 1 and 2. Could have been just a couple of seconds apart in both cases. Well, we've got 1 chest left here for Beta in the bottom of Grave. Chest 4, the normal curse spell chest, had wings, so no help there. There are red dragons down here, so he needs to be careful. He does not have heal more, although perhaps level 14 will change that.
It does not. Oh, we're still getting levels, even though you really don't need the sword for Beta. This is for sure doable with the flame sword right now. And yeah, I think we might see a flame sword dive.
And again, he hasn't seen Tablet, so he doesn't know. It may be, hey, especially if the armor is not here in Grave 5, why wouldn't you dive that? You need 2 things. Go for all the treasure chests.
And here it is. It is not the armor. It is a cursed belt that tells you could have found something in Hawksness, which I think we need to get to. And so that's Beta's next destination, wherever that may be.
So now the question becomes, what do you do with no heal more, missing sword and armor? Do you dive Sharlock without heal more, trying for both? do you level up first? It looks like he's gonna heal up here in Gernham and perhaps walk around some more.
This is definitely going to be a question Cirno faces first, right? Cirno has both trade caves in sight, is going to get a silver shield, is going to get a magic armor, which helps a lot with a Sharlock dive, with Axe Knights at least having hurt more, which will be something both of those pieces of gear Beta will not have with an armor and Sharlock situation. So this is like a big routing efficiency, you might say, to Cirno to like late get the gold grind, but it's going to work out.
And yeah, Beta is still in sort of find, I think, the harp trade-in mode here. I don't think he saw that. It is in the same vicinity as Hawksness, I believe. He still needs, of course, to find Hawksness for the token as well. So again, it's just what he elects to do in the order in which he finds these last few locations.
Yeah, I think Hawksness is actually south a bit of where Beta is right now. It's in kind of the south corner. It might be like behind some swamp. North is how you get to the harp.
There's Tablet Cave.
Yeah, oh, that's right, Tablet first.
This is Tablet. So this plays in very well for Beta. It makes a potential Sharlock dive significantly easier. Or
yeah,
a go level, but significantly easier. He can give up Healmores.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
both doing the math. We're doing the math together in our heads, and you know, they're both runners. Just had a rough seed when it came to Dragon Lord 2 math and when to dive. Taking fights along the way, getting fairy waters and still taking fights. So yeah, they won't need to do the math here on can they win. It's just how many Healmores do they need to win. Okay, so Beta is clearing out this little bit of plains here. The harp trade is over that bridge just to the east, to the little bit of this river, east of this river. May not be able to see it from here, but we'll cross the bridge when we get there.
Silver shield acquired for Cirno, magic armor as well, so again 2 big upgrades there, which could make a Sharlock dive a little bit easier. Beta picking up the Staff of Rain, so he'll have part of the puzzle done. Cirno, I imagine, will be doing so here shortly.
Yeah, I mean, Cirno now is going to have to go make the same trade Beta just made, and then get back to the drop trade, which is here near where Cirno is, right near all the towns on the other side of Swamp Cave. That will set them both up with the exact same information about the seat, not the same gear because of the gold grind, and then it'll just be get thee to heal more and figure out how to get that armor.
Yeah, the potential benefit here for Cirno, since he was actually behind on XP, he actually has the ability to just cut out at least a whole level of additional grinding. He's running away from enemies, so I think he may be banking on armor engrave.
It's a possibility. I mean, if you're Cirno, it's 2 in 9 that it's there, which is not great odds, but you also know you have a great grind on the Axe Knight. So maybe you just hustle up and try to get yourself to your decision point without thinking about taking fights.
He may also simply be in a position where he thinks that he has the MP to just burn a heal more or 2 on the way down and still be okay picking up the armor and Sharlock in a single dive.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, I'll do a little Dragon Lord 2 math. 134, if you have 11 Healmores and go at least one time before healing, you have a pretty good chance of winning the fight, which means you have 23 HP, or MP, 23 MP, and your herbs to get you to the armor. And so, with at least a chance to win at the end. So with that math, yeah, maybe you think, I'm good. I can do a single dive and come out victorious from that.
67 agility doesn't give me a ton of confidence of being able to do it, but again, we're not talking like super borderline one heal more situation. He has enough that he can, you know, still play it fairly aggressively.
Yep. And here's Beta, yes, getting to the Hawk Spike, healing up because you don't have heal more. And if it's something tough, you need every HP. It's not that tough, as long as it doesn't show you any sort of Dragon Lord breath. And it doesn't, it's going to just go down pretty easy.
Good timing there, Brian. The immediate dodge.
Yeah, I mean, you know, 137 attack power, it's actually like a reasonable swing to take, but it can dodge hurt more too. So, you know, Beta probably thinking, no matter what I do, I can't win when it comes to just getting not 1 in 16.
It looks like Beta's actually going to burn his resources down here as well. I mean, he's pretty close to 15. This isn't a terribly inefficient grind. He can pretty much swing hurt more these and get through fairly quickly. Cirno had a little bit of difficulty finding the turn-ins there, but he does now have Staff Cave in hand, and he just has to do his turn-in for the drop. The decider, does he choose to go Deep Grave? We know it's nothing. He doesn't.
Yeah, and it's far away from where you are, right? So you're going to walk it back on this overworld towards the jerk and make your last trade. And then I guess you hit up a town. You've got a few choices. Probably Rimeldar is your closest. And dive.
Beta having all kinds of nasty stuff happen there. Ambushes, dodges. Should have the resources still to get the level, barely.
Yeah, and chat for pointing out, Cirno does not have heal more. Neither runner has heal more. So, you know, but where do you get the experience, right? I'm assuming Cirno is going to do it on the Axe Knight back at start and just grind until go, right, from here. But yeah, in kind of a painful non-repel situation right now.
All right, Cirno going to be the first to get the rainbow drop. We'll see what he elects to do next. And again, that is a good point out about the heal more here. And it could be level 16. We're going to find out here on Beta's side whether or not the grind will continue, and also what his choice will be depending on the stat gains here. 0, 5, 22, and heal more.
I don't think there's much choice now. I think this is a very strong level. You could put on the Death Necklace to get to 147 attack. It's a single dive attempt. You have decent agility. Beta's gonna empty that torch out, get rid of the inventory spot. I don't know if you're buying any fairy water, but it's gone anyways.
Yeah, not going to buy any here. At 73 defense, he's not going to be repelling anything, so no benefit there. He'll have more than enough attack power even without the Death Necklace to outclass that. He's got full plate, which is as much defense points as he can have. He won't have the protection from hurt more, but again, he's got a ton of extra resources here.
All right, Cirno is making the grave path here, going towards Garenham, and it's gonna like not just let those two chests sit. It's burning a hole, and it's this burning question, and it says where could those two chests be holding the armor? It could be in grave.
Yeah, I think the last gasp really for Cirno, outside of just, you know, casually taking out metal slimes like it's nothing with 134 attack power, I think that it really needed to be a level 16 heal more situation. He's not thinking that, but if that comes up, maybe Beta tries a dive-in grind or something that would kind of be a little bit risky, but maybe something he thinks he needs to do, considering he didn't get to that grind on the Axe Knight early. But Beta very much in the driver's seat here, barring some Sharlock doing Sharlock things.
And you can see the kind of the pain of not having repel or fairy water here. Cirno getting just annoyed by a lot of enemies. Getting annoyed by a heal more wraith, like just cycling heal mores, finally decides to do a hurt more, but that's 20-25 seconds for 40 experience. It's like really painful when you're stuck in that and getting slimes. So let's watch beta. This is the dive. This is the dive to win and potentially win the entire summer tournament.
102.46 on the entry. We'll see how long it's going to take Cirno to get to that point. Armor Knight's in the top zone.
Yeah, your first really awful sighting, even with 75 agility, it's going to go right to the first encounter, first mercy rule. And the herbs are already getting used up. It doesn't matter. You have so much resources still. Surprised he doesn't top off. Again, you're not heal walking, so you're not gaining anything by leaving yourself less than max, and you run the risk of, getting stuck in a mercy rule situation again. But I expect we'll see Beta heal up a little more aggressively after this fight.
Maybe after this fight.
Maybe during this fight. Okay. It's a werewolf or a wolf lord. You've got to get away from those, right? Werewolves are 28 effective agility. First try run, please.
Nope. I do like the idea of trying to not use all the herbs. The nice thing about herbs is that you have a little bit of like incremental healing versus heal mores where you really feel like you're wasting it unless you're somewhere around that 50 HP mark.
And there's the sleep from the stone man. And luckily the small breath, but this could be really scary for Beta because what do you do next? I think you have to heal if you even wake up.
I think that's the correct call. I mean, sleep is also pretty alluring there. It does use some MP, but oh man.
You gotta wake up. You've got to wake up before you worry about two dives. Yes, I think now you're in a two dive situation, but you've got to get out of this fight. Cirno able to survive a red dragon without heal more in grave. Whatever hopes Cirno still has of coming back here, that fight needed to be a win. If you die here and have to do this again, it would be really brutal with these two chests right in front of you.
All right, Beta has made it out of zone 1 of Sharlox. We'll see what the middle zone has here for him. Nothing at all in the diamond room. A very clean walk. Switchback floor almost goes as well, and we see our good friend the Red Dragon, who is not a problem in the slightest. First turn run from the red. Only about 20 steps left before you can leave this zone, and one more red to deal with. Two run fails, three run fails, but luckily very low rolls from the Red Dragon. 2 in the 20s, 1 in the 30s. It can roll up to 42 right now, and we saw nothing close to that. Oh, but another Red Dragon. First turn run, still alive here, and really, again, with these stats, he's still in position to single dive this with 9 heal mores. Yeah, I guess I thought it would drain more after that first floor, but it's been pretty smooth, and now it just depends if we see anything scary down here. Stone Man counts as scary, even with baby breath. Well, here it is, folks. We've got the treasury on screen. 6 chances for the armor here. Will it be here or will it be upstairs and troll all of us? We've got the magic key, the fairy water, the armor, the 50 gold chest for the armor. Beta looking like he was... One more herb. Yeah, unfortunately, all the keys, all key blocked. And I guess we should say, if you've been checking out our MS Paint style equipment
graphs. These are an homage to Beta's restreams early in the tournament. He would hand draw an armor tracker in every different race, and really it's quite entertaining to see how awful the heroes' equipment would be drawn at times, but they were very lovingly painted every time Beta did a restream. So this is a little bit of bringing that back here in the finals.
All right, last few steps to the spike tile for Beta. Cirno on the spike tile looking for more Axe Knights. I'm imagining he's going to go to 15 and get heal more before making a foray into Sharlock. Axe Knight has heal, apparently. Did we see the heal at any point? It seems like we should have. I probably just didn't notice.
Yeah, we saw the heal, but they would just be able to hurt more again through it early on before they had any good weapons, so it wasn't too much of a change of their plans because they were hurt mooring twice anyways that early. And yeah, we're going to safety flute this golem. Let's just not take any more damage before this fight.
All right, Beta Strap, thou art a fool. Will Beta equip the death necklace here? He will.
It's a speed play. I'm not even sure it's actually more damage, but you do that damage faster when you do 147 attack power swings against the Dragon Lord.
It increases the variance a little bit. Like you said, I don't think it changes the odds so much. The only thing he needs to worry about or just keep an eye on the potential for bad heal mores to lead to double heal more situations. So just keep a close eye on that. 77 defense puts 51 on the table.
And we got a back attack, so we're starting the count at 12. We have 9 heal mores, and this brings us to 26. These are 3 pretty low rolls, 39. You can roll up to 23 in a single swing, and it took 3 to get to 39, so you're not happy about that. Roll for 14. Guess it's 53, still not good. $67 there with that swing.
Has yet to even get an average roll.
Is the death necklace broken? Like, what's happening here? That's another 14, 67, is that right? Okay, 89, right? Correct me if my count is off. There's still a chance. It just needs to be really strong rolls the rest of the way. $118. You could still do a lot of damage with 2 swings and maybe get a third, but these need to be 20-something to start. It's not good. Oh, what is enough? It's enough. Get your GGs out.
Beta Strap in his 6th attempt, 6th summer tournament appearance, first time past the quarterfinals, winner in game 1, narrow loss in game 2. Beta Strap, your 2025 Dragon Warrior Randomizer Summer Tournament champion.
I'm just anxious to get Beta in here. Congratulations. Amazing runner. Definitely had an amazing tournament, start to finish. One of the toughest bracket runs I think you'll see anyone have to face to get here. And that final swing, it was not looking good. I think we all felt it until you see the Dragon Lord defeated message pop up.
Yeah, the odds for him on that fight were so high, and the rolls were so bad that it made it significantly more dicey than it needed to be, but he did get it done on his very last swing. 1:12:12, the official winning time. We'll see if we can get Beta in here for some comments and some thoughts. Cirno taking the immediate DNF. God, you gotta feel bad for Cirno there. Just really that Remolder eluding him for so long really forced him to do a lot of overward traversal, and without repel and with bad defense on top of it. Even the Fairy Waters couldn't save him from that.
Yeah, GG Cirno, that was also an amazing run. And I think, taking it to the final game in a game 3 against one of the, most veteran runners that plays the game here. Congratulations on an amazing tournament. And yeah, congratulations on an amazing game 3 too. Really, just great start, great play until Rim was hiding.
And we'll continue to work on getting either or hopefully both of our runners in here for some comments and some thoughts. And yeah, really, I mean, from the beginning of the tournament, this has been an absolute gauntlet, really for both runners. But I mean, I think especially for Beta here in the brackets. Remember that he was a fraction of a second away from being eliminated in the first round against Nescard. Had to come through that tiebreaker, the rare tiebreaker race. To level 10 in DWR tournament play just to get out of the first round. Defeated me in 3 games after that. Had to navigate his way through DK as well as Rye Guy. All 4 of us have been to league or tournament finals in the past, or our league champions or tournament champions. So he had an incredible run. Cirno had a little bit of struggle in the group stage, but was able to get through with a 3-2 record. Took down Kigalis, Dweem, Hoodie Two Shoes, and Pav to secure his spot. And this is his first summer tournament. Cirno just started DWR a little over 14 months ago amidst the summer tournament last year. So fantastic performance on his side, fantastic performance on Beta's side. It has been an absolute pleasure to watch both of these runners race, and really throughout the tournament.
And I think we have Beta with us. GG. Congratulations. Share with us how you're feeling.
Strangely, my answer to this question, I think, would actually be pretty similar if I had lost. Like, I'm mentally spent. Like, this was just, the entire bracket stage was just an unending gauntlet of just ridiculous skilled runners, just end to end. And I could have easily been out in 2 games against Cardinality. Like, if I did something as inconspicuous as just like a couple extra bonks or something, like I would have lost by more than a second. We would have never had the tiebreaker. Even the tiebreaker felt lucky with finding the armor under Tantagel, because when I did that, in a meta sense, I felt like I was well behind at that point, and I actually was, and that flipped it. And then I had a ridiculously tight match against Diabetes, who commentated the race. Yeah, I don't really know what to say other than this seed was as trolly as I thought it would be, because we intentionally changed the flag to heel hurt before more, and of course we got early hurt more for the 3rd consecutive seed. So of course that was how it would play out. And then the end of that seed is the only part I really clearly remember at this point, and it was just absurd with that Stone Man and the top of Charlotte, because like I knew my stats were like really good. Like I felt like I could dive and get the armor, and I had like multiple heal mores to burn, and then suddenly it was just tight after the top floor. And then the Dragon Lord fight was just like low roll, low roll, low roll. I'm like, I can roll over 20, and I'm just rolling 12, 13, 14, 12, 13, 14. I'm like, am I gonna get slamooed? Like, it was just, it was never easy. That's what I'll say about all of this, is that it was just never easy.
nobody's Dragon Warrior ever really easy. And I think perseverance is the trait that it takes to be good at this game, and you persevered.
Yeah, it's a relief. At least the start of that seed was fun and interesting. The only regret I had is that I didn't save immediately when I saw the scorpions and like go for the torch and chip kill, kind of like what you do in Chaos against a low-end enemy there. But it eventually occurred to me to do that, and then it seemed like every scorpion I was fighting at the start had max HP.
Yeah, there was a divergence really right from the outset in this one. Beta, despite that, well, first off, neither of you elected to save immediately, which we did comment on here in chat. You were able to get a scorpion down though, you picked up the level otherwise on red slimes to get to level 2, and I think then took the scorpion out. Cirno, on the other hand, had a heck of a time trying to get a scorpion down. Min rolled a couple of torches, was not able to get one down. So you hit, I think, level 4 or 5 before Cirno got off the ground to level 2. Had to do a full reset at one point. 2 points, actually. But Cirno got to the spike tile way before you ever, I think, checked it. So there was a lot of back and forth even among the early and early mid game. I think the big turning point was that you found Rim almost immediately on the other side of Swamp Cave. Cirno last locationed Rim, and there were no free keys elsewhere. And that was a big, big problem for Cirno.
Okay, all of that makes sense. Like, obviously when you find early Rim, you don't think about whether or not there's key access elsewhere in the seed, but looking back on, I'm like, oh yeah, there weren't any free keys. So yeah, I figured I'd be last to the spike because I kept getting trolled by blue dragons. Like I tried to walk to the spike a couple times and I got a blue dragon both times. I'm like, well, enough of this. I'm just gonna start looking for mid-tier stuff elsewhere. And then when I saw it was an Axe Knight, I'm like, am I like 5 or 6 levels behind right now? And then the Axe Knight uncorked the hurt more, and I'm like, all right, even if he got to it first, this is not a free grind at a lower level, especially if he keeps ambushing. And like that first cycle against the Axe Knight was just pure torture. I missed Hurtmores, I got dodged. It was just awful. But yeah, my sense during the seed is that routing would play a heavy role because like there was stuff all around the swamp cave on the other end. Like the first continent was tiny, and then like when you popped out of the swamp cave, like Cole wasn't far away, Rainbow Drop Cave was right there, Cantlin was right there, although I looped around from the right. Rimmelsdar was to the east, Charlock was northeast. It's just the only really trolly locations I felt in that seed were like Hawksness was just way off on its own, Staff Cave was way off on its own, but I felt like I routed it pretty well. Didn't have to re-walk anything, which is always critical when you get these early Hurtmore seeds. The only thing I really debated when I was doing this was whether or not I wanted to double dip and do another gold grind for a silver shield, and ultimately I decided against it. I'm like, I can't afford to waste time doing that now because I felt like the seed was just very, very jetty, and it was just a question of when Healmore would show up.
Yeah, you touched on a lot of things that we were discussing really all throughout the race. I think one key moment as well, when Cirno got to Tablet Cave for the sword earlier, and it was a discussion point for at least the next 10 minutes, is did you feel that if you didn't find Tablet Cave on the way to seeking out, I think you hadn't found the Staff Cave or Hawksness, would you have gone into Charlock for both armor and sword, or would you have sought out Tablet Cave knowing you basically had go stats already? Or was the lack of Healmore something that would have kept you out entirely?
I don't think I would have gone into Charlock without Healmore. Like, I didn't feel like I had a lot of knowledge. Like I hadn't seen a Stone Man yet, and of course, when I saw the one in Charlock, it says, oh, it's instantly throwing sleep at me and putting me in a bind. I generally don't like the idea of diving Charlock without Healmore. unless I know for a fact that, say, red dragons are nerfed in some way, armored knights nerfed in some way, and the red dragon's just attacked all the time. So I'm like, if I try to dive Sharlock and I get back attacked by a red dragon, what do I do? Like, I mean, I know my hit points when I ultimately went for game were good, but it's like, when you're a couple levels earlier than that, like let's say your HP is 120 and you get ambushed by a red dragon, well, you have to run at that point. I mean, attack power was good with the flame sword, but still, you're not going to damage race a red dragon starting at like 90 HP, probably. So it puts you in a really ugly spot if you try to do something like that. So I don't think I would have gone without heal more. Now, if stuff is out, if Tablet Cave's outstanding and I have heal more, that's a more interesting situation. But I feel like I didn't have a lot of map left when I found Hawksness and all that stuff. Like, I feel like I covered a lot of ground by the time I got over there, so it was a moot point.
Very good, very good. We have had some comments in here in chat from Cirno as well, not joining us in the booth. Just giving some thoughts on, again, the early difficulties with the Scorpions, not finding Rim until very, very late in the seed.
Yeah, we were chatting here, and I think there's one key decision that we talked about in chat, and so I'll say it on voice for people watching this later that don't have chat access. That fork where you go north to Sharlock and go south to Rimmildar, at that point, you had map knowledge that you were in the southwest corner, so there was a lot of north available to you, and you had already seen the southerly path towards Hawksness, right? And that just meant there's only a tiny little bit of space where Rim is. It might be nothing there. There's not a lot of things that can fit in that space. Go north, right? That's where there's wide open lands, right? And I think that knowledge actually made that decision very reasonable. Found a lot of things to the north. It just wasn't Rim. And so actually, like, very informed, using information, and Cirno makes that fork in the road path, and that might be a major part of the difference here.
I feel like that's just a funny quirk of the game, if you'd call it that. Routing decisions that we make, and based on what we know, it's like it's really hard to second guess people's routing choices if they don't really know which way to, like, if you have a fork on the map and you're like, okay, I'm on this side of the map based on what I've seen with edges and such, and it's like, well, then just go the way with the most of the space to work with. Like, that's a totally defensible decision, and it's just like, oh, but this one time you do that, the one location that's in this small chunk of map that you opted not to go look at immediately is the one location you needed to get to a whole bunch of other things. And it's like, that's kind of how this game goes sometimes. There's just not a lot you can do about that. I still haven't come up with a way that makes routing choices instinctive or as instinctive as grind choices are for me at this point. Like, I still have not solved the exploration side of this game. I don't really have an answer to that.
I don't know that anyone does in that type of situation. I mean, it's one thing. It's like, well, do I go across Swamp Cave? I haven't found Garenham yet. Maybe backdoors. There's decisions like that where it seems very clear, obvious that it's worth a look. But there's a lot of situations where that is much more arbitrary, and I think this was, at least to some degree, a bit arbitrary in the directionality in this one. Chat also wants us to remind you and get your thoughts on the Droll Magi. A very early and good Hurtmore target, is it not?
Oh yeah, I was excited to get one of those with Hurtmore, and then it ambushed me and it landed stop spell. I'm like, well, I'm here we go, and I got blocked and instant DL2. It's just it's just one of those things where it's just like, you have the means to one shot. Like, I don't know what percentage of monsters. It's probably like 3/4 or something like that. You have the means to one-shot like 3/4 of the game, and then you see one of the things that you like to go after that's more stable than a spike grind early on when you don't have the HP to tank like back attack hurt mores, for example. And then of course it does the thing where it's just like, okay, getting sent home, we're gonna waste a full minute coming back here. Awesome.
You were the only one with that experience. I think it took 4 Droll Magi encounters, all of which I'm pretty sure y'all had Hurtmore. And although I think Beta, your first encounter with one, it had the breath, but you did not have Hurtmore MP. But Cirno had the exact same thing happen, not with the stop spell, but just the ambush DL2. So I think it took 4 tries before one of you was able to take down the Dragon Lord. Or sorry, the Dragon Lord. Seemed like the Dragon Lord, the Droll Magi. Cirno adding a few comments about just kind of the routing luck and a few other things. Made an interesting play. We commented on the time leaving Mountain Cave early after just checking the top chest and going after coordinates which didn't exist. Again, another play that could have paid off but didn't. Just a very, very difficult seed to route, just the way Cirno had things play out for him.
Well, I have a question for you guys. What did you think of my decision to leave Mountain Cave after opening the top chest to set up the gold grind immediately?
I think Brian has some thoughts on this.
I do. I mean, I thought it was a good play. I mean, you hadn't set up the gold grind. You had seen gold chests. You needed to get what you could get out of that gold grind, which, you know, at that point wasn't a silver shield, but it was something, flame sword and full plate. So yeah, I mean, I think, okay, maybe you could have finished clearing out the chests, but you had to come back either way. And I think just ensuring a gold grind as fast as possible, like, made a lot of sense.
Okay, that's good. I was wondering if I was going to catch flack from chat about that, or if like chat was going to be confused about it. Like, what? He's bailing on Mountain Cave already? What the heck's he doing?
I mean, I think we were like, is this optimal? We could probably do the math, you know, sometime in the future. But I think at the time, you know, get what you are sure you can get, which is reset everything. You are sure a gold grind appears. If it takes 20 seconds longer, like, that's not what you're optimizing for this early in a big race, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to lock it down because, I mean, there was another gold chest in Deep Mountain, but I might have run out of MP before I got to that because I was seeing all those hurt more targets. And I just refused to do a speculative silver shield grind. I always seem to get burned by those, so I just said, nah, we're not going to do that this time.
I think we did sort of ask, would you have done a silver shield grind later? Actually, when you went back to get keys after getting sent home at some point from somewhere, you got sent home, we're like, oh, he's filling up on keys. Is he gonna quickly set up a silver shield grind now that you've seen Caitlin? And then we were all kind of wondering. There you'll see some guesses in chat as to whether your intentions were gold grind or not at that point, but you chose, just get the keys and go.
The thought did enter my mind. I'm like, I can't sacrifice any more time to that because I didn't think it would make that much of a difference. Like, I can't remember if I had repel when I went to get keys or not. I probably didn't. Repel came late. Like, I might have had different thoughts about it if we had early repel this seed, but we didn't. So it was just get out of there with my keys and just get my exploration done as fast as possible and just get to Sharlock.
I think we've covered just about every aspect of this race. And really this whole series. I mean, we saw from game 1, again, 1 HP away from a Dragon Lord kill for Cirno, which would have been a very narrow victory on his side. Of course, after Beta, you took the Blue Dragon sleep block death. So again, multiple lead changes at the very end of that seed. Game 2, very, very close. Again, less than 30 seconds between it. From a viewer perspective, coming into Game 3, this series has been absolutely everything we would have wanted. It could have been a little bit closer here, but again, just the back and forth, not sure who's ahead, who's going to find the right thing at the right time. It was a fantastic series. Fantastic run for Beta. Congratulations on becoming the 2025 Summer Tournament champion. Congrats as well to Cirno. Again, first tournament, finishing runner-up in a very closely fought 3-game series. Looking forward to big things from both of you moving forward. Additional thoughts, Beta, on the tournament as a whole, your experience, and just anything else you're thinking about? You told us a little bit already, but if there's anything else you'd like to add.
Wow, I almost feel like I need a speech for this or something. It's like an award ceremony. It's like, I'd like to thank all the people that made this possible. But really, sincerely, I do want to extend my thanks to all the people that volunteered. Like, I didn't volunteer much for this tournament because I was stuck in the tournament as a runner, and I prioritized my prep for the races in the tournament because I knew it was going to be insanely difficult. Typically what I do when I get knocked out is I just throw myself up volunteering, but I never got knocked out, so sorry, I guess, for that. But yeah, thank you especially to, like, Bailey V restreamed the entire finals. It's hard getting restreamers, hard getting commentaries. It's like, thank you guys, Brian and Diabetes, for commentating this race, and Tilo and LOZ for the first race, and DK and Hoodie for game 2. And thank you for the Twitch chat that always keeps us honest in our decision making with its 2020 hindsight that just knows every decision in real time that we should be making in every part of every seed. I couldn't be the runner I am today without you guys. And I look forward to defending my title next year, and hopefully I can take the Winter League title. I've been going after that for a long time, and I really want that one.
Very, very good. Thanks again for all of those comments. Cirno, if you have anything else that you'd like to say in chat, please feel free. Left some comments again earlier as well. Expressing his gratification and thrilled to be able to play Beta here in the tournament, let alone in the finals. Y'all, and he points out something very important. You have played against each other in casual races. Let me check here real quick. 97 times through today, with a record of 51 wins for Beta and 46 wins for Cirno coming into this finals matchup. So extremely evenly matched. You guys have both run the most races over the past calendar year. So it seems only fitting that that's where we came to between you two here in the finals. So with that, I can tell you that the 2025 Summer Tournament has come to a close. On behalf of the administrative staff, I will take a quick moment to thank a few people. Beta already got started on this a little bit. First, all of our tournament participants who gave us race after race after race of incredible play, especially Beta and Cirno here for giving us a memorable finals battle. Without our racers to race the races, we'd all have nothing to watch. Of course, to our broadcast volunteers, including all of our restreamers, trackers, and commentators who made all of these shows possible throughout the tournament, including all of those who put up Red Slime Zone coverage during the group stage. We have not had that level of assistance with broadcasts until this year. We could not do all of this without you. Special thanks as well to Artorias Destiny and Joef, who stepped up as tournament staff this year to help run everything in the background. We haven't done that before, but they were absolutely critical in keeping everything running on the day-to-day throughout the tournament. It feels a bit weird to thank admin staff on behalf of the admin staff, but I suppose personally, I'll thank Aaron, Angel, Archfield, Cyberdark, High Spirits, McGrew, and Zarnax for all of their work that they've put in on planning and execution and running another successful summer tournament, the 10th in fact. And then, of course, all of you, the viewers, the chat. Without you, we're just playing, broadcasting, and talking into the void, so y'all keep us going. Chat always keeps us honest, as Beta indicated, making sure we make all the right decisions in retrospect. So be sure to follow and support all of our runners and volunteers on their respective platforms, even if they're not ones who run our games. Any of the members in the community that run other games as well, please support them. We love having all of you here to share these moments together. Looking forward as well, a couple of administrative notes, so just kind of putting a nice bow on all of this. The Sunday standard and Wednesday non-standard weekly races resume tomorrow, October 5th, 8 p.m. Eastern, so you have that to look forward to. So check out the DWR Discord for more information about those. Wednesday weeklies will have a little bit more to them, so take a look at the weekly races channel for that. More information from Camion. In the coming days, also expect a tournament feedback survey, which will be posted in the Discord. We would appreciate any and all responses from all players, volunteers, viewers, so thank you in advance for taking the time to provide your input. And then also, given the tweaks that were made for the tournament edition of the randomizer, also expect community discussion on the way forward with standard flags to also be taking place in the Discord in the near future. And then last but not least, if you have been in any way inspired to join us as a regular viewer, as a casual player, racer, tracker, commentator, broadcaster, developer, or anything else, please reach out to the staff at Discord. We know that so many of you are very talented, well beyond gameplay. So if you have a skill that you think may be beneficial to the community and you're willing to share your time and expertise, we would certainly welcome that. And I think that about does it. That was a long speech. I'm the one who gave the speech, apparently. Brian, it's been a pleasure as always. If you have anything else to add, by all means. Otherwise, feel free to direct us to the door.
Well, I want to make sure, I was listening to all the names, I want to make sure Shahali gets a call out as well for tracking, not just tonight, but many, 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 many races throughout the tournament. Definitely our all-star tracker for the tournament, and making sure that we see the stats and the items that we miss as we go. So thank you, Shahali, and no, but thank you for all the rest of the upcoming news. I'm excited to see what's next. More events, more races, more Sunday weeklies. So yeah, everything is looking good. Great to see the community alive and well, and congrats again, Beta, Cirno, on a great finals, and Beta on the win.
Well, that sounds good to me. So, Ness Cardinality, another member of the DWR community, again, the only one who had that near victory against Beta, ultimately succumbed to this year's champion. So he will be streaming, and we're going to send things over to him. Thanks again, everybody, on behalf of the DWR community. Hopefully the show was great for you tonight. And Brian, I'll let you call us out.
All right, thanks everyone. Have a great rest of your evening, rest of your weekend. We'll see you tomorrow for the Sunday weekly if you're up for a race or watching along. And say hi to Ness Cardinality when we get there. Thanks, everyone.